Ladies and gentlemen, day two has now officially come to a close. The madness has already started. The perfect brackets are no more, as there's currently zero perfect brackets out there, I believe. I know ESPN, no more perfect brackets. Let's talk about today. We're going to recap, we're going to preview the games for Sunday. Let's just talk about it. We're going to do the same thing we did pretty much yesterday. Let's talk about it. So, first game, UConn and Stenson, the number one overall seed. Let me change my face cam real quick so we don't get that black sidebar. Um, UConn Stenson. I did not watch this game because I knew UConn was going to beat Stenson, and what do you know? They beat them 91-52. Stenson at one point was down 8. I was gonna if they would have kept it close, I would have tuned into on it. But UConn out here showing why they were the number one overall seed. And then our first game of the day was FAU Northwestern. Northwestern was a big FAU cut into it. FAU eventually had the lead at one point, and then This day was crazy. Let me just say that all these games were crazy today, ladies and gentlemen. They were banger games. This day today was better than yesterday, in my opinion, but still a lot of madness. But FAU, right? Northwestern, they're down 2. They get the 2. It's tied up. FAU had a timeout remaining. They didn't opt to use it. The guy passed the ball backwards, and then Johnny Davis, whatever his name is, drive the ball up slowly, taking up time, just bricked up a 3, forced it, by the way, and FAU, that game would go to overtime, and Northwestern would just beat them up. They just blew them out, and FAU, man, it's sad to say I was pulling for them. I would have loved to see them win and then beat UConn and then go to the Final Four again. But sadly, FAU, after that incredible Final Four run last year, comes to a close in the round of 64. Now we got UConn Northwestern. Actually, let's talk about the other two games that happened before we get into the UConn game or the game for tomorrow or Sunday. San Diego State beat UAB. I mean, I'm not shocked about it. I knew San Diego State was going to beat UAB. UAB kept it close. UAB just, they were a 4 seed in the conference tournament. They won it. Congrats to them. But San Diego State was just too much. UAB kept it close, though. It seemed like in the first half, UAB was just not trying pretty much. They were slow. They weren't getting rebounds. I mean, that's what was killing them. But they managed to keep it close. But San Diego State just pulled it out in the end. And then I think this is the upset of the day. How about Yale, ladies and gentlemen? How about them boys, those smart boys, the boys in the book? This is what's crazy about March Madness and college basketball together. I mean, just Sunday, just like 5 days ago, Yale needed a buzzer beater to beat Brown, and now Yale, 5 days later, Yale has beat an Auburn. Wow. And this was a crazy game. That Florida and Colorado game were both going on at the same time. We'll talk about the Florida and Colorado game later, but they were going at the same time. And Yale pulled up the upset. They kept it close. They went down, but they kept fighting. They kept chipping away. They got it done in a shotgun. Dude, in Auburn, bro, let me tell you something. Auburn, many people had them going to the Final Four. Many people could have seen them win the national title, and they went out to the first round of Yale. I mean, the SEC in general is not having a good tournament. I believe only 3 teams from the SEC out of the 8 that made it have advanced, and that's crazy. So now we got UConn, Northwestern, and San Diego State, Yale. More than likely in the Sweet 16, we're going to get UConn, San Diego State National Championship rematch. It's more than likely going to happen. No offense to Yale, no offense to Northwestern. I mean, if UConn can just do what they did today against the Stenson, but I get to Northwestern, I think Northwestern is cooked. But Northwestern played a really good game today. Bluey, the number 5 and number 13. I can't think of names, guys. It's 1 a.m. as I'm recording this, and I'm just drained. I want to go to bed. It's been a long day. So Northwestern's going to have to play a good game here. They're going to have to play kind of the game they played today, but they're going to have to elevate it if they want to beat UConn. Now, we're going to get into it, but later on. But I think UConn can win that game, and I think San Diego State can beat Yale. And I'll tell you this much: if Yale can somehow beat San Diego State, UConn will get to the Elite Eight because I don't see UConn losing to Yale, unfortunately. And even I think right now, if you ask me, winner of even if San Diego State wins, UConn's getting to the Elite Eight because I don't see UConn losing to any of those two schools. I'm not high in San Diego State. I had Auburn in my bracket beating them. I think UConn's getting to the Elite Eight. They're going to get to the Elite Eight. Now, can Northwestern pull the upset? Sure, they can. We're going to talk about the one seeds later. All right. And then the bottom half of the bracket, Duquesne and Illinois and Washington State, Iowa State should be fun games tomorrow as well. And then they did it, ladies and gentlemen. Grand Canyon pulled the upset over St. Mary's. Many people had St. Mary's to the Elite Eight, some in the Final Four. And St. Mary's, Grand Canyon found a way to pull it off. Congrats to Grand Canyon, their first tournament win. I'm so happy Grand Canyon won. I like this team. I like the way they play. Scott Strue brother is the head coach. They're brothers, right? I'm pretty sure. They advance there. And then Alabama beat Charleston. People are saying Charleston going to win. I had a hunch Charleston might pull an upset, but they didn't. If Charleston wanted to pull the upset, they had to stick with Alabama, and they clearly did. They were with them in the beginning, and then Alabama just flew past them. And now what Alabama has, and if you're an Alabama fan right now, you should be happy Grand Canyon beat St. Mary's because I did not like that matchup for Alabama. If they played St. Mary's, I think St. Mary's would have beat them because St. Mary's is a slow team and they have a good defensive team. And for Alabama now that they get Grand Canyon, Alabama, I like them to win that game. I'm going to be pulling for Grand Canyon. I like the team, but I think Alabama might blow Grand Canyon out. I mean, I just don't know how. Well, the way the SEC is going with 3 teams making it, Grand Canyon can certainly beat. Let me turn the brightness down because you guys can see I rewatch these videos. You can see the reflections. But yeah, if Grand Canyon can somehow beat Alabama with the way the SEC is going, I wouldn't be shocked. But Alabama, I think they're gonna blow them out. We move to the bottom half bracket. Clemson, New Mexico. I mean, New Mexico. It seems like they didn't show out today. They did not look like the team that won the Mountain West. And, I kind of had a hunch when New Mexico was favored. And about like Wednesday or Thursday, I had a feeling deep down in my plums that Clemson was going to beat New Mexico. I mean, Clemson was really disrespected, it feels like, all week. Everyone's like, New Mexico, New Mexico. No one's talking about Clemson. Everyone's talking about New Mexico to go to the Final Four, Elite Eight, Sweet 16, and Clemson just came out and blew them out of the water. New Mexico did not show up. They weren't ready for the game. I mean, 77-56. I mean, it felt like a blowout. I mean, obviously the players played their butts off, but like just judging by the score, I think Clemson took what the media was saying and treated it as disrespect and used it as Nick Saban says, rat poison, and Clemson blew them out. And then Baylor. I'm going to say it right here, right now. You can clip it. Colgate needs to be banned from this tournament. Okay. They have shown up 5 years now, and they haven't had a close game. I'm sorry if you're a Colgate fan. For me, I don't care if Colgate makes a tournament next year. I'm not picking them ever again. Colgate needs to be banned from this tournament. And I'm sorry. I don't care if they win the Patriot League. They need to be suspended because I'm not going to sit here a year from now watching Colgate get destroyed. I mean, they were fighting. No, actually, no, they weren't. They weren't fighting. I mean, they went down like 10, and then I knew Baylor had it in the wrap. Baylor moves on. I'm sorry, Colgate. I don't want to watch them no more. They just win the Patriot League, and then when they get here's the difference between with the mid majors guys, with McNeese and even Colgate. I mean, you play shit competition throughout your conference. I mean, it's a step up. You're going from the Patriot League to the Big 12. You're going from the Southland Conference, the Gonzaga. I mean, just a whole new different ball game. I'm sorry, Colgate needs to be suspended. Enough about my rant about Colgate. Baylor, Clemson. I like Baylor to win. Maybe Clemson can take more of that rat poison with them and maybe make a shocker there. But I like Baylor to advance. And then we got Dayton, Arizona kicking us off tomorrow. Should be a fun game there. We talked about that yesterday. Move over to the other side of the bracket. Houston, Longwood. Houston just blew them out. I mean, is what it is. We'll talk about the other 1 seed and my thoughts on the 1 seeds later. But Houston beat Longwood. They destroyed him. A fun game was Nebraska, Texas A&M, surprisingly. like I was watching the game. The first like 20 or first like 5 minutes in the game, Nebraska Texas A&M was fun. I forget his name. They pronounce it so well. The Japanese Steph Curry is his nickname they're giving him. He was on fire, and then he hit the bench, and then he went ice cold. Texas A&M was shooting it well. I mean, the first 10 minutes were electric to this game, and then eventually Texas A&M just steamrolled Nebraska. And I feel for the Nebraska fans, bro. They're the only power conference not to win, and this seemingly was their best team, and Texas A&M just blew by them. They were shooting lights out. Now they get Houston. This Texas A&M pulled the upset. If they play the way they did tonight, they can if they're shooting well. I mean, Houston has good defense. Their offense is a little weak. You give Buzz Williams a day to prepare. That's going to be a fun game. I just think it's Houston's year, honestly. If it's not UConn winning it, I think it's Houston winning it. But it should be a fun matchup. I just can't see Houston losing. I just can't. But we'll talk more about the one seeds after we get to it. The final one seed. Uh, James Madison and Wisconsin. Bro, I told you, James Madison, or in my bracket stream, they were my team. I was telling people they're going to go to the Sweet 16, and they beat Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin, they were playing good, and they played good. And the Big East, or not the Big East, the Big Ten tournament. But Wisconsin was playing terrible tonight. They had like so many turnovers, and James Madison was just capitalizing off their turnovers, getting points. I mean, Wisconsin, there were some balls going in and out of the rim. I mean, Wisconsin they just didn't bring their A game. They brought their like B or C game. I mean, they were just turning the ball over left and right. It was not a good showing for Wisconsin, but the Dukes, they played a great game. They capitalized off the mistakes Wisconsin was making, and now they find themselves a date with Duke, who played Vermont. And, I don't like Vermont either. I think Vermont should be banned, but at least Vermont had a little fight. Unlike Colgate, Vermont had fight. They kept it close, but eventually Duke just pulled away. You know, they played Duke did not play a good game either. I mean, they should have been up more. I felt like they should have been up like 20. And what Vermont found a way to keep it close. Now, Vermont, James Madison, it's going to be an interesting game. I'm rooting for James Madison. I really do not like Duke. I I don't. I just don't like Duke. Personally, it's just stereotypical stereotypical whatever I'm trying to say. It's fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't like Alabama either. Nick Saban, Coach K. I respect them as they're great coaches, but like I just don't like them. You know what I mean? Kind of like that. But Duke, James Madison. I think James Madison can pull the upset, but it wouldn't surprise me if Duke, blew him out by like 30. But James Madison is the hottest team in the country right now. Uh, they haven't lost since February 1st. Will they get it? I don't know, but I think James Madison can win this game and set themselves up nicely with Houston, and then Florida and Colorado. This was a fun game, and it sucks that this game was going up at the same time as Yale Auburn, but it was so good. The endings, it was a very high scoring game, and it seems like the SEC teams, Florida, Bama, Kentucky, maybe even Tennessee, they're all offense and no defense. I mean, Alabama blew them out. I mean, we start with Kentucky. They couldn't stop Oakland from three. Alabama could stop Charleston, but now they don't. Now they get Grand Canyon. I think they should win. But Florida Colorado was a great game. It was like 100-97. Florida hit a clutch free, and then Colorado get the last shot, a really lucky shot, and also apparently there was a push off that wasn't called, and Colorado got the right bounces. They advanced. Colorado's playing really good basketball. Them and NC State are probably the two hottest teams, and James Madison, the three hottest teams in the country right now. I mean, it is what it is. Marquette, Western Kentucky. I told you guys, Marquette is the most overrated team in the country, and I'm going to stand by that. They were down at 1.10 to Western Kentucky. Eventually, Marquette overcame that. Tyler Kolak did play. They now get Colorado. I think Marquette can win that game. I honestly now Even though I think Marquette's the most overrated team in the country, I do think they will get past Colorado, and I do think they can get to the Elite Eight with a matchup with Houston. Um, we'll see, man. I have a feeling that we'll talk about later. We'll talk about it later. But Marquette, Colorado should be a fun game. I'm pulling for Colorado just to prove my theory about Marquette being overrated, but we'll see. Purdue, Grambling State, and I've seen people, saying, "Oh, Grambling, they're gonna lose to 16 seed again." Nope. Then Zach Edey and them boys was was not letting that happen. Purdue, it was close at one point, but then Purdue just ended up rolling them. Now, here's my point with the one seeds this year. Now, everyone we've seen. Here's the thing with the 16 over ones. I treat them as special. I don't want to see it every year. It kind of devalues it. The 16 beating the one, kind of like it when it comes from out of nowhere. But if you were picking a 16 over a one this year, I mean, what were you thinking? Okay, let's go over these 16 seeds. Stenson, it's their first tournament appearance, taking on a great UConn team. I'm sorry, they weren't going to have a shot. Longwood, they were the 15 in the conference tournament. I did not expect them to, beat Houston. Grambling State or Montana State. Montana State was like the 4th or 5th seed in their conference. Grambling, this was their first tournament appearance. Wagner, they were like the 6th seed in their conference. And Howard was like not even a top seed in their conference either. The 16 seeds were down this year. I couldn't see a 16. The only one I could have saw was Wagner. Just the story and the heart that they have, but that was really it. But anyway, Purdue gets the monkey off their back. They got the monkey off their back. Now they get Utah State, who beat TCU. Utah State, they blew them out. They blew them out. It was close, but eventually Utah State got hot. This is Utah State's first tournament win. And let me just say something about the Mountain West. I don't know if I said it in my bracket video, but I was seeing some tweets on the bracket how the Mountain West was overrated. And you know what? Yeah, Mountain West is overrated. Boise State lost, Colorado State lost, Nevada didn't show up today. Or no, New Mexico didn't show up today. Nevada choked a big lead. And Utah State, I think they're going to get blown out by Purdue. Or not blown out. I think they can hang with Purdue for like a half, but I think Purdue will pull away. And then who's the other one? San Diego State. I'm not high on it, but I do think San Diego State kind of got lucky that they don't have to face Auburn. I think they'll get to a Sweet 16. But Purdue, we said it in the bracket show, they got a nice draw. They have a great crowd there in Indianapolis. They're going to be loud there. I think Purdue is going to get to the Sweet 16, and they're going to take the monkey off their back in this second weekend. Looking forward to Gonzaga and Kansas. If they get Kansas is banged up. They could probably beat them. Gonzaga's down, but you never know with Gonzaga. They got a good coach. We'll see. Purdue's got the monkey off their back. I think they can win Sunday. Purdue, what happens in the Sweet 16? I don't know. We're not going to get there just yet. We'll have to wait till Sunday to see where Purdue basketball goes. But they got the monkey off the back. They can get to the next weekend, relax, and prepare. So that's my Purdue talk. Purdue got to finish their story. And that's all the games that happened today, man. A lot of banger games. Looking forward to it. And oh yeah. So let me talk about this, chat. One of these one seeds are going to lose this weekend, either on Saturday or Sunday. I'm thinking Sunday. I'm thinking that one seed goes down Sunday. And I also think a 2 seed is going to lose on Saturday or Sunday. A 1 and a 2 seed is losing this week. Guarantee you that. Now, Greg, who's the 1 seed that are going to lose? I look at 2 options who's going to lose. I start with North Carolina. I think North Carolina, everyone's saying they're going to be the first 1 seed to lose. Tom Izzo's a good coach. If anyone can get it done, it's Michigan State. That's my 1 seed I could see losing tomorrow. Purdue, I do not see it. I think Purdue should get to the second weekend, no problem. Houston, Texas A&M might cause a scare, but Houston should get by it. The other 1 seed I could see losing is UConn. North Carolina and UConn. I could see one of them losing, and you're probably thinking, Greg, really UConn losing in the second round? Let me present you a historical nugget. Last year, Kansas took on Arkansas, the defending national champions, lost. Baylor the year prior, Baylor took on North Carolina, and they lost in the round of 32. I believe Villanova 1 year lost to Wisconsin. I can go back and Google it. I didn't get prepared. Those are only three examples I have. And the number one overall seed usually goes out. The overall number one doesn't go up pretty early, but the defending champ usually goes out in the second weekend. I gave you three examples: Kansas, Baylor, and Villanova. Will it happen to UConn? I don't know. That's why it's March Madness. That's why we love this. I wouldn't. That's the only thing. That UConn has the defending national champion curse. I could see UConn losing because of those Nuggets, but I can't see UConn losing. I see North Carolina losing. That's it. I think it's going to be either North Carolina or UConn. One seed's losing this weekend, guys. I have a hunch. One of these one seeds are out. It always happens. It's going to happen. My money's on either North Carolina or UConn. And then same thing with the two seeds. Marquette, Colorado, Washington State, Iowa State, Dayton, Arizona, Texas, Tennessee. One of these two seeds are going to lose. I do not think it's going to be Arizona. I think Arizona will be taking care of business against Dayton. It's not going to be Arizona. I think it could be Tennessee, because the SEC's been struggling, even though I think Tennessee can make a deep run. But you got to put that little nugget with the SEC struggling. Marquette, they're the most, in my opinion, the most overrated team in the country. Prove me wrong. Get past Colorado. They didn't against Michigan State last year. I heard Shaka Smart has never been in the Sweet 16 since that Final Four run. So if Marquette can beat Colorado, it's a monkey off his back. It's a monkey off Marquette. They get to prepare for either, Oakland or NC State. That's going to be a fun game tomorrow. But yeah, Marquette. And then Iowa State. Iowa State, I also could see losing, just because a little nugget for you people. The team that's usually unranked to start the year has never won a national championship or been to like a Final Four or whatnot. But Iowa State is a good team. I could see one of those three losing. I could see all three of them losing. But one of these one seeds and one of these two seeds are going to lose this weekend. On which day, I don't know. But that is that. And then one more thing. Oh, wait, I want to show you guys is the schedule for the games tomorrow, if you didn't already see them. So let me go to scores real quick. Tomorrow, these are your times. Hold on. Nope. Is it? Whoa. Today? Oh, I'm on the wrong day today. And I guess they already put tomorrow's games up. Okay, so we'll take a look at both of them. Dayton, Arizona will get us kicked off. Gonzaga, Kansas at the 3:15. North Carolina, Michigan State. That's going to be a fun one at 5:30. Washington State, Iowa State, 6:10. Oakland and NC State. I will be watching that game at 7:10. Texas, Tennessee at 8. Duquesne, Illinois. That should be a fun one at 8:40. Oregon, Creighton at 9:40. And then here is the Sunday games. Ooh, Colorado, Marquette gets us kicked off at 12. And then Utah State. Ooh, this is going to be a fun one. 5:15. I will be watching that. James Madison and Duke. Clemson and Baylor at 6:10. Grand Canyon, Alabama. That should be a fun one at 7:10. Northwestern, UConn, 7:45. Texas A&M, Houston at 8:40. Fun one at 9:40. And Yale and San Diego State. So those are the schedules. I guess they just released the Sunday ones, but I wanted to show the Saturday ones. So those are the schedules for the games. And then let me just show you guys my perfect bracket. Yes, I have tons of bracket for my family pool. And yeah, our bracket's not doing too hot. We'll have 200 points in the 47 percentile. Yeah, man, the bracket's toast. I mean, Auburn losing sucks because we lost 2 wins there. We have Illinois advancing, so that's all right. We had St. Mary's, man. That one effed us big time. That one effed us because we had them in the Elite Eight, and then same thing. New Mexico going to the what a Sweet 16. Yeah, the Sweet 16, and then over here we had McNeese, Stanford, but we did have JMU advancing, and oh yeah, we had Florida. We had Florida getting to here, and same with Kentucky, so we lost points there. We had McNeese going here, lost points there. Yeah, the perfect bracket we did is toast, but nobody has a perfect bracket anymore. Everybody's bracket's busted. Now we get the root for chaos. As long, I mean, if you're betting money or in a money pool, then go with your champion pick. As for me, I'm rooting for chaos. I'm hoping Oakland to the Final Four, maybe national title game. I'm hoping UConn loses for madness. I want chaos now since the perfect bracket is now no more. We have no perfect bracket. I tried, guys. We'll try again next year, and that's gonna be it. We're rooting for chaos now. Yeah, so that's it. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video or live stream, whatever I do next here on the Greg Sports Podcast. Thank you. Have a great day. Have a great night, and peace.